I've been feeling really angry lately because of the horrific state of sex education. And to make it worse, I prompted Tumblr with the question, anyone care to share their sex ed horror stories with me? Let's start with Inkling 139, who was taught orgasm equals ejaculation, which is why men want sex but women don't. Teacher, do you mean that if I don't expel fluids, I'm not experiencing an orgasm, so why bother having sex? 1, orgasms do not equal ejaculation for any sex or gender. It's possible to orgasm without ejaculation. It's possible to ejaculate and not orgasm. 2, orgasm is not the only reason to have sex. And 3, lots of men don't want sex and lots of women do. Then there's the education therapy the cake got. That's the clitoris, don't worry about it. Let's try this instead. The clitoris is part of the female reproductive system that looks like this, and it is located here. Flarpfreak said, when I was in school, I had a sexual education teacher who insisted that all queer people were molested as children and that's why they're queer. 4 huge problems here. 1, abusing power as an educator to pass personal theory as fact. 2, ignoring the experiences of others as evidence to the contrary. 3, lying. And 4, putting into question the sexual orientation and or sexual abuse histories of all children, queer and otherwise. Emilykval's teacher told her class menstrual cramps don't really hurt that much. Menstrual cramps, also known clinically as dysmenorrhea, are defined by the Mayo Clinic as throbbing or cramping pains in the lower abdomen. When you minimize that pain, you're not sparing anyone from being afraid. You're discounting the experience and perpetuating confusion about what is happening to their bodies. Don't do that. Okay, a little bit more menstrual stuff. Taytayisme was taught that if there weren't pads or tampons available when you get your period, you need to stuff tissue in yourself and throw your underwear away. No! Tissues and toilet paper are not designed to be put in or taken out of the vagina. Doing so can easily cause a vaginal infection. If you need something quick, you can fold toilet paper into a makeshift pad, not a makeshift tampon. As for the underwear, cold water and soap can remove stains. If they don't, there are dozens of tricks online. Brianjumps was informed that condoms are porous, and at best, they are inconsistent at preventing pregnancy and do nothing to prevent HIV. That's not true! They're 98% effective when users follow directions. Essentialdreamer said, a specialist visits my high school every year and tells students that condoms can give you STDs. Give you? This cannot give you STDs unless it has been previously used. Kids, please tell your teachers that this is a single-use only product. The-garden-variety-gatsby was told that the true love of marriage would protect us from STIs. You know, I did a whole episode about this. bitethebubble said, in my system we had this debate on whether or not teens should be allowed to have sex, and the only argument from the pro side my teacher would accept was exercise. There's that, and this list of benefits. Ngjenkins.
That's me.
His teacher taught the guys that every time they orgasmed, the prostate would grow and that this is what caused prostate cancer, so don't masturbate. A research study published in the Journal of American Medical Association concluded that ejaculation frequency is not related to increased risk of prostate cancer. It's actually hypothesized that the higher levels of androgen, which would increase sex drive and motivate people to masturbate more, are what is putting people at a higher risk for cancer, not the masturbation itself. In fact, studies have found that later in life, masturbation is actually a form of risk reduction thought to flush out cancer-causing toxins. Aconnormanning said, in my sex ed, they told me not to masturbate because it'd make us infertile. If you tell people that masturbation is going to cause them to be infertile and they masturbate, then are they thinking that this is a form of birth control and they can later have unprotected sex? 'Cause no, fear tactics, denial, shame, lying, discounting experiences and feelings, it's horrific. What do you think? Also, will you please share your positive experiences of sex education in the comments to remind me that there's a lot of awesome out there too. Stay curious.